with public comment. Pursuant to Council Rule 28, the public comment period at committee meetings is limited to items that appear on the committee agenda. All public comment speakers must present proof of Tennessee residency. We have 3 people signed up for public comment. You will have 2 minutes to speak. First is Emily Schneller, speaking in regard to Bill 2025-1113 in support. And I apologize if I mispronounced your last name. Oh, let me go back to the public table.
It's okay. It's common to mispronounce names. All good. My name is Emily Schneller. I am a homeowner and resident in the Rhythm at Music Row condominiums, where we have about 105 units. We are in full support of the Midtown Music Row MBID, and really ask for your support of that as well. So nervous up here. We started meeting over a year ago on how to clean up our neighborhood and make it a better place to live, partly due to some issues that we'd had during COVID and post-COVID. After many months of meetings and research of other bids across the country, input from our neighbors, including those in education, music, and hospitality, our HOA board strongly supports the bid. Our hope is to have a cohesive neighborhood voice to partner and work with Metro on beautification and safety in our area. We've spent many hours walking the neighborhood. We see the growth and we want it to continue, but we want to have a voice and make sure that it is a benefit for everyone in the community and all those pillars of what's so important to Nashville overall with education, music, students. So again, we support this. We believe that it has neighborhood involvement and voices that can partner with the city. So we do ask that you as the Metro Council support this effort. Thank you.
Thank you. Next on the list is Mike Combs, speaking in regard to Bill 2025-1113, speaking in support. You're recognized.
Yes, ma'am. I won't take the 2 minutes. I know several of you have been here a lot longer. When I first arrived about an hour and a half ago, my first meeting, seeing you all. Thanks for the work that you do. I moved to Nashville in 2017 at 1803 Broadway, otherwise known as the Bristol on Broadway. The day we closed on the building, or excuse me, the unit, was the day we actually physically saw it. Because back then, in 2017, you didn't list and have an open house. It was like listed and gone. And my wife and I tried to figure out how are we going to get to this place that we started to fall in love with. And then, of course, as a business person, you say, hey, personal income tax is 0. That's a pretty good deal. Then it takes a while after watching all the phenomenal growth that you all deal with daily, realize that the dollars get stretched pretty hard. We're in favor of this for a couple reasons. I'd just like to articulate, and I'll be straight to the point. It was already suggested, I picked up a quote in the previous hearing, that it struggled to fund the entertainment district. What do you not have a struggle funding anywhere? I read the Nashville Business Courier. I follow the news, the Tennessean. This is a daily constant battle for you all. It really is. And what you have here, from my perspective, is an area that's high residential, some retail, but high residential that are high majority have expressed positive hopes because they know that the results and the funding and the effort into it is to help improve the community and take care of address the issues. I will inject this, Hub Nashville and all the places that I have traveled to, it is a great system, but I can also tell it's also stretched quite a bit from time to time. I can just tell that. And so maybe there's some support here. And then also, I'd just like to say this in closing. As a community, we're trying to do self-determination. And that's where I'm asking for your all support. Thanks for your time. I hope to meet as many of you as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Last on the list, we have Mr. Steve Ryder, speaking in regard to RS 2025-1659, wanting to request a public hearing.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the committee. Yeah, I want to thank the Public Health and Safety Committee for their one meeting deferral on the downtown public safety grant. I apologize, I got here late, so I didn't hear a lot of the discussion. But I do want to point out that pursuant to Bill 2017-646, the lead sponsor was David Rosenberg. And it basically said any deployment of surveillance technology has to have a public hearing before the Metro Council. So I think we can stipulate that the downtown public safety grant includes surveillance technology. The other thing I just wanted to bring up, I heard a comment about the Midtown Business Improvement District. And I just want to say, I hope that that can be amended on third reading, because I respectfully requested a public hearing on this at the second reading this week, and that's not happening. So I want to make sure that that is amendable on third reading. Otherwise, when the public hearing happens, when we have a chance to speak on that, we can't amend it. So please respect the community, give them an opportunity to be heard, because I think that there's some mistrust in the community because that is not happening. So please, I think we can do better on that. Thank you again. I hope you're having good holidays and everything else, and I look forward to the rest of the meeting. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, committee members, returning to the agenda, and I did want to say, because I didn't say at the start, that we do have a quorum with myself present, Councilwoman Allen, Councilman Cortez, Councilman Druffel, Councilwoman Gamble, Councilman Gregg, Councilman Huffman, Councilwoman Johnston at the time we started the meeting, and, oh, she's in the corner. Oh, hello. And Councilwoman Porterfield. All right, moving on to the consent agenda. I'm going to read the items that are on consent. If something needs to come off, if you could please raise your hand. On consent, RS 2025-1658, 1662, 1664, 1665, 1666, 1667, 1668, 1669, 1670, 1671, 1672, 1674, 1675, 1679, and Bill 2025-1137. Is there anything that needs to come off of consent? Councilwoman Allen.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Could we take RS 2025-1662 and RS 2025-1674 off consent?
All right, 62. 4. Is there anything else that needs to come off of consent? All right, I will read the captions, and then if something needs to come off, you can raise your hand again. Item number 1, Resolution 2025-1658, Toombs, Gadd, and Welsh. Resolution authorizing a grant not exceeding $50,000 from the Mayor's Office to the United Way of Middle Tennessee Incorporated to provide legacy planning services to eligible residents in accordance with the Financial Empowerment Center program model. Item number 7, Resolution 2025-1664, Toombs, Horton, and Gadd. Resolution authorizing the Metropolitan Development and Housing Agency to negotiate and enter into a pilot agreement and accept payments in lieu of ad valorem taxes with respect to a multifamily housing project located at 865 West Trinity Lane, known as Trinity Lane Apartments. Resolution 2025-1665, Coopin, Toombs, Hill, Johnston, and others. Resolution approving an application for a historic development grant from the Tennessee Department of Economic and Community Development to the Metropolitan Government, acting by and through the General Services Department to support the restoration and conservation of the original Art Deco bronze doors at the Davidson County Historic Courthouse to ensure the continued use of the courthouse while preserving its historic integrity for future generations. Resolution 2025-1666, Toombs, Huffman, Gadd, and Welsh. Resolution appropriating a total of $765,882 from the Metropolitan Government, acting by and through the Metropolitan Board of Health to Vanderbilt University Medical Center, and approving a grant contract by and between the Metropolitan Government, acting by and through the Metropolitan Board of Health and Vanderbilt University Medical Center for the provision of medical case management, mental health services, outpatient ambulatory care, and referral services for participants in the Ryan White Part A program. Resolution 2025-1667, Toombs, Huffman, Gadd, Hill, and Welsh. Resolution appropriating a total of $1,621,095 from the Metropolitan Government, acting by and through the Metropolitan Board of Health to Nashville Cares and approving a grant contract by and between the Metropolitan Board of Health and Nashville Cares for the provision of early intervention services, emergency financial assistance, food assistance, housing services, linguistic services, medical case management, mental health services, non-medical case management, outpatient ambulatory care, psychosocial services, and transportation for participants in the Ryan White Part A program. Resolution 2025-1668, Toombs, Huffman, Gag, Gamble, and Welsh. Resolution appropriating a total of $48,000 from a certain account of the Community Safety Fund to Pass the Beauty and approving a grant contract by and between the Metropolitan Government, acting by and through the Metropolitan Board of Health and Pass the Beauty for the provision of a community safety program that mitigates financial stress, strengthens anti-violent social norms and peer relationships, and provides peer support and therapy. Resolution 2025-1669, Toombsville, Gad, and Welsh. Resolution appropriating $117,869 through a grant contract by and between the Metropolitan Government, acting by and through the Nashville Public Library and the Enterprise Center, Inc., to establish the Senior Tech Academy to focus on digital literacy, training, and education. Resolution 2025-1670, Toombs, resolution authorizing the Metropolitan Department of Health to compromise and settle the personal injury claim of Simone Weeks in the amount of $40,000, and that said amount be paid out of the self-insured liability fund. Resolution 2025-1671, Toombs and Huffman, resolution accepting the terms of a cooperative purchasing master agreement with Blink Marketing, Inc. for promotional and commemorative items for the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County. Resolution 2025-1672, Toombs and Huffman, resolution accepting the terms of a cooperative purchasing master agreement with Ford Imprint, Inc. for promotional and commemorative items for the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County. Item number 18, resolution 2025-1675, Toombs, a resolution authorizing the Metropolitan Department of Law to compromise and settle the personal injury claim of Christina Sweeney in the amount of $35,000, and that said amount be paid out of the self-insured liability fund. Item number 21, resolution 2025-1679, Greg Toombs, Horton, and Evan Siegel, resolution approving a notice of land use restrictions applicable to a portion of the campus of the Omohundro Water Treatment Plant. Item number 23, Bill 2025-1137, Toombs, Huffman, Allen, Ellis, and others, ordinance approving an agreement between ATS Operating LLC and the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County, by and through the Office of Family Safety to collect clothing and/or other household item donations on a regular basis from OFS on behalf of one or more charitable organizations. Is there anything that needs to come off of consent? Hearing none, can I get a motion? Can I get a second? It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye. Opposed, no. Any not voting or abstaining? Motion carries. Going back to items that are not on consent, item number 2, resolution 2025-1659, Toombs, Huffman, and Johnston, resolution approving a letter of agreement and memorandum of understanding between the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County and the Nashville Downtown Partnership related to an application for the fiscal year 26 Downtown Public Safety Grant from the state of Tennessee. Can I get a motion? It's been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Councilwoman Porterfield.
Thank you, Chair. There was a very robust discussion in public health and safety. Ultimately, public health and safety did vote to defer this for one meeting after discussion. So hopefully our colleagues on budget and finance will allow some space for any additional financial questions to be answered prior to us making a motion to defer it. I asked a million questions, so I think I only have one now. Can we get any, I believe it was stated that the grant would come to MPD by the end of the month. I believe that's the information that we got. Do we have that anywhere? Is that stated anywhere, like in the MOU or grant information that we received, or can we get any clarification of that? And that question's to the administration.
Mr. Rosenberg.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Council members, this one question in 22 parts.
I think it'll just be, I think this is 1A, but we'll see if I have a 1B.
Okay. I don't have the answer to that. I would defer to the recipient of the grant.
So does that clarify as 1B? Count as 1B?
If you could introduce yourself and you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair. Ben Simpson, Chief Operating Officer for the Nashville Downtown Partnership. When the state passed this particular grant in its budget, one of the restrictions in the budgetary code was that the grant be dispersed by December 31st.
Thank you. Do we have that in writing somewhere, or is there anything that could be submitted to the council in writing with that information?
Mr. Simpson, is there anything in writing that says that it has to be dispersed by the 31st?
It is state law, and I'm happy to get Ms. Darby that citation.
Thank you.
That would be helpful. Thank you.
Councilwoman Johnston.
One meeting deferral.
It's been properly moved that we have a one meeting, properly moved and seconded that there's a one meeting deferral. Is there any discussion on the one meeting deferral? Councilwoman Allen.
Thank you. Does that mean it comes back to this committee automatically as well? Great.
It
thank you.
automatically comes back to the committee. Any further discussion on the one meeting deferral? Councilman Cortez, you're recognized.
It's not in the deferral. I had my hand up. You didn't see me for the discussion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
May I ask two quick questions?
Not really.
Okay, that's fine. I'll watch the previous and I'll bring it.
Sorry about that, Councilman. I didn't see you. Any additional discussion on the one meeting deferral? Seeing none, all those in favor, aye. Opposed, no. Any not voting or abstaining, motion carries. And it will be re-referred back to Budget and Finance. All right, moving on to item number 3, Resolution 2025-1660, Toombs initial resolution determining to issue general obligation bonds of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County in an aggregate principal amount of not to exceed $531,925,000. This needs to be deferred one meeting.
So moved.
It's been properly moved and seconded to defer one meeting. Any discussion on the deferral? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye. Opposed, no. Any not voting or abstaining, motion carries. Item number 4, Resolution 2025-1661, Toombs resolution reducing the authority of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to issue general obligation bonds pursuant to certain initial resolutions previously adopted by the Metropolitan County Council. This needs to be deferred one meeting to track with the CSP.
So moved.
It's been properly moved and seconded to defer one meeting. Is there any discussion on the deferral? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye. Opposed, no. Any not voting or abstaining, motion carries. Item number 5, Resolution 2025-1662, Toombs, resolution appropriating the amount of $14,971,000 from the General Fund Reserve Fund for the purchase of equipment and building repairs for various departments of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County. Can I get a motion? It's been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Councilwoman Allen?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just had a question. There's $2 million in here for Ascend Amphitheater, and we just approved an agreement where Gaylord or Ryman Entertainment is going to be spending lots of money on that. So I just was wondering if I could get a little further explanation on what Metro will be spending when there's already a lot of other capital obligated for that.
All right, I see someone coming up to the back table. If you can introduce yourself and you're recognized.
Sure, Kevin Roten, Metro Parks. Council member, the geothermal that cools the Ascend Amphitheater, there is a problem with that, and it's part of the contract, and so that was part of the deal that we would pay for that, and that's where the $2 million is. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything additional, Councilwoman Allen? Any additional discussion? Did someone raise their hand? Okay. Hearing none, all those in favor, aye. Opposed, no. Any not voting or abstaining, motion carries. Item number 6, Resolution 2025-1663, Toombs and Evan Siegel, resolution appropriating to a certain account for the benefit of Metropolitan Transit Authority in the amount of $8 million. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Okay. It's been properly moved and seconded, and I'm hearing that this was deferred in transportation. Is there any discussion? No discussion? Okay. All right, so we have a motion for approval on the floor. Hearing no discussion, all those in favor, aye. Opposed, no. Any not voting or abstaining, motion carries. Item number 16, Resolution 2025-1673, Toombs, Huffman, Johnston, and Gamble. Resolution accepting a statewide school resource officer program grant from the Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security to the Metropolitan Government, acting by and through the Metropolitan Nashville Police Department for the placement of school resource officers in the schools for the continued efforts to establish and maintain safe and secure learning environments for eligible K-12 public schools and public charter schools. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Any not voting or abstaining? Motion carries. Item number 17, Resolution 2025-1674, Toombs, Huffman, Johnson, Gadd, and others. Resolution approving an application for a DNA capacity enhancement for backlog reduction program grant from the U.S. Department of Justice to the Metropolitan Government, acting by and through the Metropolitan Nashville Police Department to outsource sexual assault kits to private vendors for forensic case sample analysis to reduce the backlog associated with DNA analysis. Can I get a motion? It's been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Councilwoman Allen.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just had a question about how many this lab will process. I know that not too many years ago, we built a really great lab so that we could do our own DNA analysis. And how big is the backlog, and will this catch us up?
I see Deputy Chief coming. If you can introduce yourself and you're recognized.
Hi, thank you. Chris Gilder, Metro Nashville Police Department. So this would allow us to outsource, approximately 180 of our kits. I was looking for I figured you were going to ask me about the current numbers, and I have that here somewhere. I'll have to find it. I'm sorry. But we anticipate, so what we've done is we have added staff and trained staff in-house. It's a very long process that has occurred over the course of this year. We are processing, I believe, about 100 and we're processing in-house about, I'm sorry, I have my other numbers in front of me, but we're processing around 100, I think, and 30 kits a year in-house. We're outsourcing the others. We anticipate that next year we will be processing everything that comes in-house going forward. Even when we outsource these, we have to, our scientists have to review that and then enter it and see if it's eligible for entry into the CODIS database. So it still requires work from our scientists as well. But I think between the grant that you all approved before from the Alliance, this grant, and my understanding is the Alliance is considering another one, that we're about at the point where we are going to be caught up. And again, anything going forward next year, we anticipate being able to handle all that in-house, so there should be no untested kits.
Anything else, Councilwoman? All right, any additional discussion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor, aye. Opposed, no. Any not voting or abstaining? Motion carries. Moving on to item number 19, Resolution 2025-1676, Toombs, Evans, Siegel, Gadd, and others, resolution appropriating $59,994 through a grant contract by and between the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County, acting by and through the Metropolitan Department of Water and Sewerage Services and the Cumberland River Compact to provide trash and debris removal around Nashville's waterways. Can I get a motion? It's been properly moved and seconded. Can I get someone to move the amendment? It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the amendment. Director Darby, can you just give a brief description of what the amendment is?
The amendment replaces the exhibit with a contract that has signatures.
Thank you. Any additional discussion on the amendment? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye. Opposed, no. Any not voting or abstaining? Motion carries. Can I get a motion to approve the resolution as amended? It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the resolution as amended. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye. Opposed, no. Any not voting or abstaining? Motion carries. Moving on to item number 20, Resolution 2025-1677, Toombs, Evans, Siegel, and others. Resolution appropriating $50,000 through a grant contract by and between the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County, acting by and through the Metropolitan Department of Water and Sewerage Services and the Tennessee Environmental Council to provide trash and debris removal from around Nashville's waterways. Can I get a motion? Been properly moved and seconded. Can I get someone to move the amendment? It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the amendment. Director Darby, can you briefly describe what the amendment does?
The amendment changes the exhibit and replaces it with a contract that has signatures.
Any additional discussion on the amendment? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye. Opposed, no. Any not voting or abstaining? Motion carries. Can I get a motion on the resolution as amended? It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the resolution as amended. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye. Opposed, no. Any not voting or abstaining? Motion carries. Moving on to bills on second reading, item number 22, Bill 2025-1113, Coupon Cash, Allen, and others, an ordinance amending Title II of the Metropolitan Code of Laws authorizing the creation of a Midtown Central Business Improvement District and appointing a corporation to act as an advisory board to the district with the necessary powers and authority to carry out the purposes and intent of the district. Can I get a motion? It's been properly moved and seconded to approve item number 22. Going to the lead sponsor, Councilman Koopman.
Thank you so much, Chair, and thank you to everyone who came out and spoke today, and my colleagues and the steering committee who's worked tirelessly over the last 18 months. I can't believe it's been that long on this legislation. Before I start, I wanted to remind everybody that we are bound by state law to have a public hearing and third reading more than 30 and less than 45 days from the initial resolution, so that does keep us on a tighter track than maybe other legislation might run. That being said, I appreciate Mr. Ryder's comments and do welcome folks before the public hearing to come reach out to me via email, via phone, come find me. Happy to talk, happy to work on this bill, and it is amendable on third reading. For committee members, you will find on your desk a packet put together by the wonderful Haley Levy, because you don't want a packet that I put together, that would not be good. But it talks about what the bid is, the map, the budget, things like that, just a little bit more context. This bid is for cleaning, beautification, safety, neighborhood improvements. But that being said, I heard concerns from colleagues. Davey Tucker with MHRC had sent us a letter. And kind of the theme of what I've been hearing is, we're supportive of bids, we're supportive of the bid structure, but we want to make sure that we're not creating an entity that then works antagonistically to the Metro government, right? We want to make something that runs in line with us, not against us. And so to that end, I've got an amendment that I would hope the committee would support as well, and it does a couple things. In the section about traffic and parking issues, it adds language talking about being in line with Metro's stated multimodal goals. It restores, as the bid over the summer has, council confirmation of all board members. So again, the board would be made up of community stakeholders, but they would be confirmed by this body and having an opportunity to have a conversation and to engage with them, make sure that those folks are going to represent the bid, but also Metro. There's quarterly reporting. There's reporting to the Public Health and Safety Committee. There's reporting to this committee. Annual approval of the budget, of course. And then public safety, I worked on language to try to focus in and limit the public safety piece to things that Metro has said they support or that we support. So this legislation, this amendment says that the security of the bid can either be MNPD or an entity commissioned by MNPD like Vanderbilt Police. It can be a private security agency that Metro is doing business with currently. So for example, WeGo Transit uses Archangel Security to staff the Elizabeth Duff Transit Center and other transit stops. Or if there is a need for anything else, it would have to be approved by resolution of the Metro Council. So to me, that limits, again, to security services that Metro has said, we like them, we support them, they're doing good work, but it prevents usage of a vendor that perhaps the council or the Metro government is not supportive of. So again, continued work on this. We can amend it on third as well. Really appreciate everybody's support and work thus far, and hope you all will support the resolution or the bill and the amendment. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Councilman. Can I get a motion on the amendment? It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the amendment. Is there any additional discussion? Councilman Parker.
Thank you, Chair, for the recognition. So y'all know that I've been digging into our big, beautiful bid and kind of the bid process and how that works overall. And some of the concerns that have been brought up around that, I really appreciate the council member for working on this amendment and trying to address several of the issues that we've identified multiple times. And also I've had some really good conversations with some of the MBID key stakeholders since this thing has been filed. So again, I would, if I were on the committee, I would be supporting this amendment, and I would encourage colleagues to support the amendment. Thanks.
Any additional discussion on the amendment? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye. Opposed, no. Any not voting or abstaining? Motion carries. Can I get a motion on the bill as amended? It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the bill as amended. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye. Opposed, no. Any not voting or abstaining? Motion carries. All right, moving on to the last item on the agenda, item number 24, Bill 2025-1138, Toombs, Huffman, Stiles, and Benton. Ordinance approving Amendment 3 to the contract number 455783 for the provision of body camera equipment between Motorola Solutions Incorporated and the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County. Can I get a motion? It's been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, aye. Opposed, no. Any not voting or abstaining? Motion carries. All right, that completes the agenda. Meeting adjourned.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information on this and other programs, visit nashville.gov